So Pastor is coming on the
I pray for vision, I pray for wisdom, I pray for weapons against the system. I pray for freedom to free the victims, to heal the brain, no pain inflict them. I pray for real, I pray for real. I talk to God, then wait for real. Can't fake the fun, can't fake the feel. I pray for fun, I pray for real. I pray for y'all. I pray for y'all.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to CYA, Confessions of a Young Adult. I'm your main host, Cedric Carter, Minister Cedric Carter, and I got my man, the co-host,
Elijah Peters.
We want to welcome y'all to today's show. First, we want to kick off a couple things. Some of the previous comments from our last show from Della Johnson, questions and comments. Does God give preferential treatment to those that follow him versus those that don't? And Michael Johnson's comment was, our blessings are based on what he knows we can handle. It doesn't seem equal or fair, but it is based on what he knows about us, not what we think we know. And off of that, I'm going to go into our scripture for the show, which is Matthew 7:12. Do unto others as you will have them do it to you, for this is the law of the prophets. How you feeling today, man?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself, man?
I'm not doing too bad, man. It's Tuesday. It was kind of slow today at work, but it is what it is. We are here, and we're going to try to have a good show tonight.
Yeah, we had some, as the Texans call it, some crazy weather this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, I'm from Minnesota, so that little,
this was light.
Yeah, that little drizzle, you know, that little drizzle. That wasn't nothing, man.
Yeah, that ain't nothing to what Minnesota be getting. That's the drizzle. That's funny. And if y'all stay tuned into the show at some point, we will have a special guest. Our pastor will be on to speak about his COVID vaccine shot, and I believe he's getting ready to take his second shot if he has not already taken it. But we will have him on for a little bit of time to have conversations with him. But on our first topic, we want to get into, oh goodness, hold on 1 second. Well, first let's start off with the vaccine. How do you feel about the whole vaccine? Some people taking it, some people not taking it, some aren't taking it due to religious reasons. Mm-hmm. Some are saying it's due to religious reasons, even though it ain't religious reasons.
It might be, you know, it might be.
How do you feel about the whole vaccine thing right now?
As of right now, I'm not getting it. I don't plan on getting it. Mm-hmm. From what I've read, 60% of doctors aren't getting it right now. 60%. Yeah, not due to them just, I don't know what you mean by on perception, but I don't know, they're not taking it for their own reason.
So what's being said
but
to
there
us?
Doesn't, what do they call it now? The workers that are important. Aren't they like first in line because they're working on COVID cases?
Well, so what's being relayed to us is that some of the doctors aren't taking it due to them wanting the seniors to be able to get it first, and this and that, which I think is a fair deal and this and that. I haven't been that aware of the numbers as far as how many people have gotten it, those who have gotten it, and how many have gotten sick after
that's tough
the
to
shot
say, yeah.
or this and that. I feel like that's kind of a flip of a coin type of a situation. But as I remind people, it's just a vaccine. It's not a cure. That doesn't mean if you get the shot that you won't still get COVID or anything like that. So I would say we still need to be safe and be careful out here and do what's right. Wear a mask and take yes, we did, and take appropriate actions. We'll get to that in a minute. And take appropriate action towards the COVID vaccinations. Me, I think I'm leaning to the point to where eventually I will get it, which is weird for me.
Oh, wow. He
Um,
flipped. So you flipped from the last 2
I
weeks.
didn't say
You
I
said,
was 100% sure.
nah.
I said I think the traction is starting to go that
Man,
way.
they taking our young adults and making them get what some people are calling the marking of the beast. I don't know if y'all know what that is. You know, the marking of the beast is a chip.
I'm well aware of the mark of the beast.
That's one of the reasons why I don't want to get it is because
You think this is the mark of the beast?
I don't know. Possibly. It could be. We won't know.
What makes you feel that this is the mark of the beast, ladies and gentlemen, those who are tuned in, is what the Bible speaks of when we're living in the last days.
Hmm.
That there will be something that will be given to the people that I don't know what it all implies, but it's basically something that's given to the people, and we got it. We're gonna work through it, and
Some people are referring to the marking of the beast, from what I heard, as the microchip that the government is trying to push on people, which is, in a nutshell, is a tracking device. I say, or a serial number to where they can find you where you at all times.
Well, let's do this. When Pastor comes onto the show,
we're gonna let him
revisit that part, and he'll be able to educate us and eloquently speak
There you go.
on said topic or whatever.
Bet.
But we're gonna go into the topics from the comments that were on our previous show with Adela. So her comments was, does God give preferential treatment to those that follow him versus those that don't?
Yeah.
Do you feel in all walks of life that God gives preferential treatment to those who follow him and those who don't?
This one was still tricky when I did a little research. It's still on the fence for me. Is this the way that she asked the question? To believe, as in, I just believe that there is a God. I'm a Christian, I believe in God, but not to truly follow or pursue a bond is completely different. So, let's just say, I believe in God, but I don't do anything to show that I'm a believer of God. I don't think those people get preferential treatment. I think when you actually pursue not just a relationship, but you sacrifice worldly things for the better of the world, then I think those people do get preferential treatment, not on earth, but in afterlife. So it's kind of tricky.
But with what you just said, you feel the reward is greater afterlife.
Yeah.
Once they die and go with God to heaven, than from it being on earth.
Exactly.
Per se. Okay, I can see that point of view. I think for me, it's very tricky because I gotta be careful with this. It's very tricky because when you go back in slavery, when Christianity was, being, not that I'm not saying that it wasn't in existence,
Yeah.
but that was a major piece in which it was related to us. Like, could this question be based then as well as far as it is now? Because if so, what was the preferential treatment from blacks or colored people, I won't just say blacks, colored people, being whipped, enslaved, and raped, and this and that, and the whites having all the power and being the master, or you know what I mean? What was the preferential treatment then? Because if that's the case,
for referring to slaves, were they really believing? I hate to say it this way, because I'm gonna get my black card stolen. Were they really believing in God and Jesus himself, or were they more believing in the Bible and the songs that they were preaching to get them through whatever they were going through? Because I don't remember them.
well, how could you remember? You weren't.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. I wasn't there. This is just based off what I read and what I've seen or what has been portrayed to me,
Yeah.
which is it's kind of hard to judge them based off only what I've been portrayed.
Well, I would say this just from personal experience. I would have to say, if from my judgment, I would think it would be more of them trying to have a relationship with God and this and that, because that's been passed down through generations.
Okay.
Yeah, the songs have been passed down, but music passed down regardless.
Exactly. Yeah.
A relationship that stays with families
That's right.
and all that stuff, that's passed down as well, but that's harder to pass down than just music and a tune and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're able to, so I would say, no. I would. My belief would be that they wanted to have that personal relationship with God. Of course, like I said, being raped, whipped, killed, slaughtered by dogs, like all that stuff, and so that's why I said the question then becomes, well, when did the preferential treatment start?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if we
Because they didn't see any. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we go from back then, and like I said, to reiterate, I'm not saying that that's when Christianity started or not, none of that stuff, because it's been said that it was way before that. But in today's time, or if she's saying from a standpoint of just the Christian itself from the non-believer, if we go that route, then I could say yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, but what's preferential treatment in God's eyes, we'll never know, because we're all blessed and highly favored. Some are blessed more than others, but I don't think the only reason some are blessed more than others is because some have worked and worked their butts off and worked hard to get and get to where they want in this life with whatever they're trying to achieve and this and that. We all have gifts, I believe that. So I think the preferential treatment will be towards more of like what is the preferential treatment? Because we both got kids, you know what I'm saying? So for you, it could be like, oh, my son had a good day at school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm going to reward him with this or that. Or for instance, like my son had a good day at school. Since he's been back from the break, he's had good days, and the teacher emailed me and said he's been doing great, this and that. So for me, I'm like, oh man, I need to reward him in some way, somehow. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to ask Della, what would that preferential treatment be? In what form? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
What she means, but off the basis of a believer from non-believer, then yes, I believe that of course we would have preferential treatment in some form or fashion due to the fact that we believe that he died on the crossroads on the third day, and died for our sins and stuff like that. Then from that standpoint, then I believe yes, we do have preferential treatment. You have any remarks to that, or?
No, I think we covered that question, but since we're still on the topic of preferential treatment,
Yeah.
we got to talk about this Kyrie Irving dude going on in Brooklyn, who getting all the preferential treatment right now, not showing up to practice, the games.
Yeah.
But yet this man still is a Brooklyn Net, man. I don't get it.
He's still getting paid. That's the thing.
Man, that contract should be, if he was a rookie,
Yeah,
contract would be null and void.
Yeah.
He's down somewhere on the block.
Nah, you're right. I think I'm done trying to figure out Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is a national basketball player, professional basketball player, and he did something that most of us probably would have been fired for.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on how good of an employee you are. But what he did was he texted his teammates before the game, but he didn't text his head coach, assistant head coaches, or the manager, or the GM or whatever, that he wasn't gonna play. And his excuse was, it's for personal. Well, I won't say excuse. His reason was,
Yeah.
it's personal reasons, and I just don't want to play right now. And that was all off what happened last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, at Capitol Hill, where those thugs and those terrorists stormed the Capitol and did unprecedented things for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he for sure is getting preferential treatment. But the bigger the star you are, the more leeway you have. I mean, we talked about that a couple shows ago with James Harden.
He's
so
been doing this for years, though. How can...
It ain't been this bad, though.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
It ain't been this bad, but whatever he's going through, I pray for him, and hopefully he get through with it. But unfortunately, a video came out that he was celebrating his sister's birthday, and he didn't have a mask on and this and that, and he violated the NBA protocol.
Yeah, so we know it ain't for COVID reasons.
Yeah, so, I mean, however they see fit to figure it out, then they figure it out. But I want us to move to what Michael Johnson said on last show. 1 second, Pastor. What he said was, after the Della Johnson comment, was, our blessings are based on what he knows we can handle. It doesn't seem equal or fair, but it is based on what he knows about us, not what we think we know. And my response to that would be, do you want to respond to that? Or
I need Pastor for that because I said it last week that what we can handle part.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's kind of tricky.
Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go on a quick break real quick, and we're going to have Pastor come on to our show, and once he gets back, we're going to handle the Michael Johnson comment and how we feel about it, and then we're going to talk to Pastor about his first vaccination shot and how he's feeling since then, and we're going to have a great conversation with our pastor. We're going to go on break, and we'll be back here shortly. And don't forget, we're going to go into Spill the Beans as well. We're going to see if we can get Pastor on that too, so let's see what we got to spill. We'll be back shortly.
Gotta wait. Michael V. Dale. Pasa verano conmigo, yo te enseño de lo fino. Yo sé que a ti te han herido, pero yo no ando lo mismo. Dice que es dominicana, ya no le importa la fama. A todos le dicen no, no, solo le importa su alma. My baby look like a queen, sheesh, I'ma get down on her knee, huh. I know you been through some things, sheesh, you never been with a king, huh. I'm on the way, we're no delay. Baby, you say, we gon' be straight. Cuando tú me miras reconozco que solo eres mía, no de otro. ¿Quién puede rechazar esa carita? Tu sonrisa me hipnotiza. When I look in your eyes, I'm hypnotized. You gon' be mine, don't be surprised. Sé que tú me quieres, no lo niegues. Esto es amor, ella no se detiene.
Let's take it back to the basics. My baby look like vacation. Way that I'm dodging these, yeah. Look like I'm trapped in the matrix. Shorty like mine, finer than wine. Don't need a sign. No, she a dime. Just in my line. I give my time to her. I just be kind to her. She got the Mac on her. Look at the contour. I give my mind to her. Snaky little mamas creep up in the past and I break out my lawnmower. She know I ride for her, yeah.
Cuando tú me miras reconozco que solo eres mía, no de otro. ¿Quién puede rechazar esa carita? Tu sonrisa me hipnotiza. When I look in your eyes, I'm hypnotized. You gon' be mine, don't be surprised. Sé que tú me quieres, no lo niegues. Esto es amor, ella no se detiene. Correct. Man, we got one. Cutaways. Puerto Rico. Only God can orchestrate this.
I'll be seeing y'all being all hype with the music coming on. Y'all want to get all R&B on me, all quiet.
Welcome back, y'all, to Confessions of a Young Adult. Again, I'm Cedric Carter, your main host, Minister Cedric Carter, and this is the co-host.
Elijah Peterson.
So we're going to pick back up on the comment that Michael Johnson left on our previous show, but we have our guest, Pastor McKinley, Alton McKinley. Thank you for coming on our show today. Elijah got
This conversation started a few weeks ago. But
A few weeks ago.
That's how tough it is. It lasted on for a little while, but I'm going to let you and Elijah go at it on this one.
So what I came up here for is we're going to get that later. Okay.
Elijah got a bone to pick about this question, but like I said, Michael Johnson's comment on our previous show with what we were talking about is our blessings are based on what he knows we can handle. It doesn't seem equal or fair, but it is based on what he knows about us, not what we think we know. And I'm gonna let you respond to that comment. Then Elijah can speed race right on through what he feels.
Well, and I think that conversation, I think we were having a meeting at the same time, so I was trying to go back and forth, so I didn't get the gist of that message. But taking it off the surface, just from what I'm hearing, we gotta understand that God is not a God of a genie. So we just can't tell him that, hey, I want this, and this, and think it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So when people start saying God knows exactly what we can and cannot handle, he also knows that when we look at this, God's not going to give a person so much that they start using for bad. Mm-hmm. You give a person so much that they forget about God and they start doing some other stuff. So God's gift to us, or his grace to us, is measured. And so he knows, and people need to take this both ways. He knows exactly what we can and can't handle. Mm-hmm. When I started First Project, I told people that, early on when I was real young, I wanted a motorcycle. And if I got that motorcycle when I wanted it right out of high school, right when I got to the military. Well, there might not be a pastor because I was doing dumb stuff. And I can't get mad at God. God, you should give. If you had gained that motorcycle then, or I say this also is that growing up, my dad and mom wasn't together, and so my struggle was my dad couldn't be there. My dad went in the military when I was 1, and so as I grew up, my dad he lived in Atlanta while he went to school, and so he wasn't there to go to my baseball games or do those things, or even as I got older. But when I got to be, I said, man, my dad had been around. No, my grandmother put a lot of stuff in me that made me who I was, and so I know I'm going far from this. A lot of stuff that we think that we need and want, and we don't get it, God says, I know exactly what you need. And so I don't know what contents Michael was saying in that, but God's favor ain't fair. Mm-hmm. Because we see people all the time that, man, God, if we had our way, strike him down and lift this person up.
Yeah.
But would that person be that person if he didn't go? We look at the outcome and says, man, this guy was good. If he had got this stuff, well, what if that good person now, because he had, Cedric, because you are here because you had struggles. Mm-hmm. If I take those struggles away, would you still be the same Cedric? Elijah, if I took the struggles away before, would you even have come to a relationship with God now? So a lot of stuff God measures in our life. And again, I think what Mike was trying to say, and he had to correct himself, but the idea is that God knows exactly the blessings to bestow upon us. Because if he gave us too much, it would destroy us. But watch this. If God gave us too little, so we always look at how much he gave us. But what if God made us be raised in Australia, in the boondocks of Australia, and we didn't have anything?
Yeah.
Then we would say, on that flip side, says that God didn't give me enough and I didn't have it. So it's a scripture that says, God will give you the desires of your heart. The key there is because God changes our heart, our desires are different than they were before as we mature.
Yeah.
You know, you don't ask for the same stuff you asked for when you was.
Yeah,
when-
no doubt.
give me a fire truck and a racetrack, I'm happy. If I
Yeah.
give you a fire truck and a racetrack, now you get mad at me. Pastor, who gave me a Hot Wheels racetrack and a fire truck?
Yeah.
So anyway, Elijah, ask your question because I rambled in.
Yeah, go ahead,
you
go ahead.
So when is it too much? Because the non-believer can say, well, Jeff Bezos has almost 100 billion, if not more than that. Don't he have more than enough? Some can say Steve Ballmer has $72 billion or whatever. Isn't that too much? Or you know what I'm saying? Non-believers always relate to things with money. I've noticed when it comes to certain things. So my question to you would be, what is too much, not only in the eyes of God, but to help people understand or correlate that just because one has a lot of one thing is like, you know what I mean? Because that's the one thing that...
Can I go biblical on y'all real quick?
Do what
Yeah,
you got to
for
do
sure.
to answer it. I'm just saying because a lot of people go to money.
Watch this. Compare this. Jesus never owned a house here. So would you say that compared to what Caesar had, what agape? Look at all the kings and all the kings of Persia. Man, they had houses upon houses of money.
Yeah.
Jesus hung around with a few folk and had to put some scraps together to have a fish fry.
Yeah.
So when we start thinking about, he gave up everything in heaven to come down here to be an example. He was born in a barn. I don't care how glamorous we try to make that look
It's a
on
barn.
on Christmas. We
Yeah.
put the donkey, it looks all cute. It was probably some old mangy donkey out there, some
Yeah.
old dirty sheep, and you
you're right.
you was in some hay.
Yeah.
So when we start comparing that, how many else was born in the barn? I know my grandmother said, close the door, you don't live in no barn. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know why that came in my head, but the comparison says that there's going to always be people who have more. And Jesus says, the poor will always be among you. You want to spend a little bit on me, because remember it was about the oil that she was, we can take that oil and we can sell it
We can sell it, yeah.
and feed the poor. Now we know, he wasn't really trying to sell it for the poor, he was trying to put it in his pocket.
Yeah.
Judas, come on, we
Yeah.
still sell him out later on. So we always got to look at this idea is that God knows exactly what we need. And again, it doesn't limit who we are, but there's times, man, I wish I could just go to the bank and it's just there.
For sure.
I just wish it just, you know what? But I also know is that if I had all the money that I needed in the bank, I could do stuff, would I still put the effort in to preach? Would I
Yeah.
still, in my mind, I tell myself that,
No, for sure.
but I tell myself in my mind, but if I had $72 billion in the bank, and I know folk on trial for you when I say this, if I had $72 billion in the bank, getting to that point, would I have more would my passion be for God more or less? Because that journey would have been different.
So I like that you went that way, because then the question becomes, is the road to destiny, is it better to, not everybody, but a lot of people play the lottery. Everybody wishes and hopes to hit that big mark where you get a couple $100 million, or if it's reached that point, or you're at least walking out with a couple $1 million or whatever. Is it better to have that, or is it better to have a gift that God gave you and you work and you pursue? Do you think that then changes your passion, or is it no matter what, if you got it, complacency comes into the picture because you're human? And if you already got so much, then what else then I need to do?
I'll tell you right now, today, if Amber and Elijah stopped at 7-Eleven and played the lotto and they hit it and they cut off their daddy $20 million, I would still be the pastor, but I wouldn't be because I've already been here. But you give me $20 million at, y'all know my story. I said when I left my grandma's house, I said I ain't go back to church again.
Yeah.
If I had left church
And got $20 million.
and got $20 million that day, I can't tell you how my life would be. I can't even tell you, the
For
idea
sure.
that changes everything because of my relationship with my wife was geared on because I went to the military and I wasn't doing so all that stuff is, who knows? We got $20 million And we got married when we were 19, and we've been divorced at 20 because we were young and dumb.
Yeah,
So
young and dumb, yeah.
so everything we look at, there was this movie, I can't think of the name of it. He went back and changed one thing in his life, and it affected everything. It was Destiny. I can't think of it. But he went back and he actually hit the home run, became the hero, did all this stuff, and his whole trajectory changed. But his life that he was in, he loved that life because all those things brought him with his stuff. When he went this other way, he got stuff given to him. He got stuff that way. And so we don't know how we will react to those things. But we always know. Everybody dream about, when you see a billboard that says $600 million down the highway,
Oh, for sure,
yo,
for sure.
I don't care who you are,
You
because
gonna
we
play.
flashing. No, ain't no say we play. We look at it and say, man, I don't even, if I got just $60 million,
Just 60, man.
if somebody just go and play and they hit it and they just pay their tithes.
But you being honest though.
Look here, look
Man.
Yeah,
look
you're
here.
saying
I'll tell you. I say again. If somebody go out there and hit $60 million, and they really love the Lord, they pay their tithes.
Man, that's $6 million.
Because the Bible tells us to use all that comes into the house of the Lord to bless the Lord. And so, look here, this church gets $6 million. We doing some stuff.
Oh, for sure. We
so
already in the community and stuff.
I say this. I understand what he's saying is that God knows exactly what we need and how we do those things. And it doesn't fail that says, God, I wish that I had $1 million.
Yeah.
Lord, because I have $1 million, I can bless you more. And God can say, well, no, you bless me just fine. So I don't tell anybody not to pray, Lord, help me get to make more money. Lord, help me, because then we drive in a different situation. So, but God still, I mean, when it's all said and done, when I get to heaven, what I obtain on earth means absolutely nothing. I mean, what I didn't attain on earth, it means nothing. As long as he says, well done, our good and faithful servant. And so we struggle with this idea that we do see people who we see, and those who can send your anger comments to CYA, we see Trump and people jealous of what Trump has. But I would say Trump has a miserable life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, even though he has that money, but Trump has to have a miserable life, because you can't be that way and be that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
No,
I
for sure.
got off subject.
No, it's okay.
Elijah,
So
No, this was good. This
because
was
Elijah,
good.
I know you wanted to. I know you might want to
You
go.
just hit some
No,
points
that
that I
was
just
good.
wanted
All
to
of
go
that
into.
was
But I'm
fueled
gonna-
off of preferential treatment, I guess.
I'm gonna let Eli go.
So,
like K-Dot said, I got
Like
a
you were
phone
saying,
to
I think the difference between getting the preferential treatment is, if I pray for $1 million, am I praying for it just for myself, or am I praying to bring more people to God? So the difference is, the way that Della stated it, is she said, does God give preferential treatment to those who believe and those who don't believe? At the end of the day, we both believe in God, but the difference is, I'm not using the money for myself. That's the difference, right?
No, and I agree with that. And this is the thing we got to realize. Jesus came to die. He died for everybody. So he says, even before we committed something, he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. The people who were actually committing crimes then, and that's a futuristic thought, and people in the future, that's how you can tell a person who lived a bad life all their life, on their deathbed says, I believe who Jesus Christ is.
Yeah.
I believe he died. And at that point, and I know people argue with this, I believe if that person believed in his heart and confessed with his mouth, the Bible says then. And I would get mad and says, I lived my life for 60 years living the Lord, doing this stuff, and this joker been doing all this stuff. That's the preferential treatment that God gives to everybody. And that's the piece where, and he tells in the Bible that when he started giving out the vineyard, I don't want to take up the time, but he says that the same person who started at 9 o'clock in the morning got the same thing as the person starting at 3 o'clock afternoon. They all got 1 pence. And those who started in the morning got mad because he gave the same money. I worked all day, and this person worked an hour and got the exact same blessing. So what that says is that you got over because you earned more in 1 hour than I did in 9 hours.
Yeah.
And they went there for a second. I worked 9 hours, so you divide that up, and let's just make it easy. I got $9 in the morning. You got $9 at night. So you earn $1 an hour. This person earned $9 an hour, and and it says you can't pick and choose, because I mean, on this, y'all get this. Plan receiver in 1970 is different than playing
Oh,
a
playing
receiver
receiver now.
this year.
Oh, yeah.
1970, they had to go out and get a second job. Drew Princeton was working at a car lot after the season. These jokers here, they own car lots. So as you look at that, I'm sorry. Let's get on to something else. I didn't talk about
Is
sports.
that what you
and
had?
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You wanted
for
to
sure.
talk
He
to
answered.
Pastor about? Okay.
But let me tell you something. That's a struggle in Christianity. That's a struggle, period. Because we will waver what other people have compared to what we have. And we'll get mad at God because, the bottom line is, I have to remind myself, nothing I do here will last. This is not the prize. The prize is to get to heaven. And then when I get to heaven, that's where the greatest reward is at. So we have to, and it's just not y'all. Y'all, pastors, I keep telling y'all, I don't preach because I made it.
I know,
I
for
preach
sure.
because I'm going through this stuff. And so, yeah. I look here, $600 million. I think it's up $630 million tonight. A lot.
Yeah, it's something like that. And you would leave with a lot of money. Yeah.
And you trying to tell me that if I had woke up in the morning and my bank account now had $496 million, 000. Well, after I pay my tithes, we down to $300,000.
Before we go into the next stuff, I see somebody say, y'all better have fun while y'all on earth now, because when we get to heaven, ain't nothing but a call center. But to get to what we have you on here for, Pastor, how you feeling? You got your first vaccination shot a couple weeks ago
On the 28th.
on the 28th of December.
I did my second one on this Friday.
This Friday.
And I have been talking about this. Matter of fact, I talked about it again today. I talked to a couple of people about this. Matter of fact, I was talking to Amber and I talked to another lady. This is why I pushed the vaccine, and I can tell y'all, when it first came out, when we knew it was coming out, I was saying no, I'm gonna wait.
Well, I was just gonna ask you.
And so what came to mind is twofold. As I talk to more blacks and we get more numbers in it, and I said before, I said our healthcare issue in the black area is not going to change overnight. We know that we are the most underfunded, undermedicated, under-accessed, and it comes out even with the vaccine. When it came out, it wasn't distributed to our areas. And I says that we keep saying, well, we just need mental health care. Well, that's not going to happen overnight.
No.
So what the vaccine does two things. The vaccines, if you take two people, we each have 100% possibility of catching the vaccine. So now getting the vaccine, that means I only have a 4% chance of catching it compared to 100%. But watch this though, and we leave it at that, we'll be fine. But what the vaccine does, it builds up my immune system.
Yeah.
It allows that
Okay.
to come in my body, and my body starts to react to it. What I have that the person who has 100% don't have, even of the 4% that I might catch it, my body has already built up the antibodies,
To
the
fight.
resistance to it. So even if I
fight it.
catch it, it's not going to affect me as the first person. So it's twofold. And I know we've heard the idea from, somebody say if they get it, they're gonna track you. Let me tell you something. If you worry about being tracked, if you got a cell phone, you're being tracked.
Nah, that's
No, Pastor.
Wait, hold on.
No, Pastor.
Let me go with this.
Pastor.
If you got a credit card, if you got a credit card,
They
you
can
be.
track you.
But
if you
is
pay a
that the
bill,
sign of the end of the world, though? That's the thing. Most people are thinking the vaccine is, I know you've heard of the marking of the beast,
yes,
right?
yes.
So that's what I think
Can
the
you
big
explain
conspiracy
to what
is.
the mark of the beast?
The mark of the beast itself, if we just take it literally, it's something that can be seen. Vaccine can be seen. It is an actual mark that sets you apart from everybody else, whether it's on your hand, on your forehead. It's not like something that, because we wear clothes. Everybody in the world wear clothes. Nobody's walking around naked. So when that's talking about the mark could be seen, it's something, a vaccine. I don't care what you do with a vaccine, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So to have the mark, to carry the mark, it won't be invisible.
Okay.
There's going to be a line idea that says that, and again, it will be seen. So if that's, and it don't necessarily have to be, whatever. But it's going to be a mark that can be seen. So I hear this idea, but they're going to put a chip inside of us. No, when you have this opportunity for the mark of the beast, it'll be able to know who has taken that and who hadn't. And so we are not at that point. And I've heard that. Believe me, I've heard all of it. Mark of the beast, end of the world, this, and this. every time there is realize this ain't the first time we had to come up with a vaccine. Every major vaccine, from smallpox to chickenpox to all those things, had their naysayers about, oh, this is the end of everything if we start doing this. Every single vaccine, because why? Because we are, I hate to say it, we are scary folk. And so everything's pushed towards that. But this idea of this vaccine that does this, again, so
Is that a comment?
So I don't
Okay.
I don't mean, again, the tracking thing, the this and this. We see stuff on TV and we think, oh, that's just science fiction. No, you can be tracked.
Regardless, yeah.
The only way you can't be tracked, you don't have any funds, no nothing. When they say off the grid,
You off the
Yeah,
grid.
off the grid.
you are. But if you're in the grid,
You can be tracked somewhere.
you have everybody has a digital footprint,
Yeah.
and everybody,
We already
most
been
everybody, don't expose themselves because they think that because I'm on Twitter, I'm on all that stuff can be hacked in, all that stuff. So you
Regardless, if you have a cell phone, you can be tracked. That's just the
All
point.
the time.
and watch this. Have you ever been on your phone and it automatically fill out your information for you automatically?
Yeah.
That tells
The autofill?
you have a digital footprint that if anybody wants to track you, they can track you. And so unless you, and really it's getting harder and harder. And I'm gonna say this. I've heard that now. Back in the day, y'all don't hear this now. Oh, I would never use a debit card because that's the mark of the beast. A debit card. Because people want to get credit card. I ain't using no
See,
debit
it
card
troubles the
because
Yeah.
and we think about that, how often you use a debit card.
All the time.
Y'all don't carry
Hey, we
cash.
don't even gotta use debit card. We Apple Pay now, baby.
Nah,
What
for
you
real,
talking
though.
about?
But think about how easy it is. Doesn't that
Straight
sound
from the phone.
I was doing that, and somebody says, oh, those debit cards, that's the mark of the beast, and they gonna get y'all. Now, you can't do me. Well, now with COVID, everything now is really
Yeah.
debit. So nobody want to touch your cash, and it's debit. So every time we move forward, we want to have this this end of all things. But that's my piece about the vaccine is that it's double thing. And again, my second shot, which is the one that really amps you up for your body to start working towards that the antibodies and all that. That I didn't want to catch I didn't want to catch the COVID and experience some of the stuff that I see, and it's happening more and more. And what I want to tell people, it is not just the older people. We've had a 40-year-old that died 6 days after they caught it and had no signs of it.
He had the shot?
No, he didn't have the shot.
Oh, okay.
So watch this. He had no
Symptoms.
symptoms and died from COVID 6 days after he was admitted. That to me is something. If you want to get people to be serious about something, you start saying that. And we keep throwing out these numbers. California's overran. We all know it. But the idea is that herd immunity. It takes 3/4 of a population to get herd immunity. But realize what herd immunity is. We have chickenpox herd immunity, but people still get chickenpox. People can still die from the chickenpox, and we have herd immunity. So herd immunity is in itself is not a cure to all, because people still get measles, people still get mumps, people still get these things. And so I want people to stop thinking about, well, herd immunity is millions of people. What is it? 220 million people need to have herd immunity before it works.
Oh, really?
So
We ain't gonna never get
that's just America. But watch this. Doesn't herd immunity have to be a worldwide?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have billions of people. So you're
Yeah.
talking about you need at least 1 billion people to have the shot or even had that. We might lose people at a higher rate before we get hurt. I mean, we lost the other day 4,000 people in one day, the largest death rate in America since it started, 4,200 and something. So when we start,
So what do we do? Do we move on? Because we're never, I don't want to say never, but it's going to take some time to get there. Do we continue to just lock up, wear the mask for 3-4 years, however long it's going to take? Or do we just move forward and just let the numbers do what they do?
my biggest concern is I heard this number, and I don't know how we get to it. You need to have 2+ million vaccines a day for the next 6 months for us to get to that point.
6 months.
We're not even averaging that.
Wow.
We're not even averaging close to that.
Yeah.
So first of all, getting the vaccine produced and out there. So I'm like you, Elijah. I think even though we have this vaccine, we're going to still be masked up until we get a cure. If we don't get a cure before the vaccine takes me, my idea, and this is, if y'all want a conspiracy theory, I don't want them to stop at a vaccine. I want them to get a cure for it. And a lot of times we don't
We
ever get
ain't
a
gonna
cure
ever
for
get
it.
no cure.
We never get a cure for it. We just keep getting the vaccine for
They
it.
got it.
Gotta be
I
Magic
hope-
Johnson again.
So I want to give y'all another conspiracy. I want to give y'all another. If you want to spill the beans now, you want to spill the beans now. I don't want nobody. I don't want the people because we live.
I got a conspiracy on that Magic
We
Johnson.
live in a process that big farm companies are. I mean, until we get that under control, man, you can't tell me that goes on. So that's me. I'm not saying anything else anybody else don't do. We put enough smart people in the room. There's nothing that is impossible for us to do. And so I struggle with the idea that we come this close to knocking out cancer, but it's still just on the edge of not knocking it
yeah.
completely out.
Yeah.
And that's the piece that, again. So anyway.
Sound Booth has a question. Is it a reoccurring vaccine that you need yearly, like a flu shot?
Yes, right now, and again, until we get more data, I mean, it might be
Is
one
it
week.
data or data?
If you're a
No,
Star,
some people say
if you're a
data,
Star
some
tracking,
people say data.
if you're tracking, it's data. And if you're from the South, it's data.
Nah, yeah, he's right.
So no, that's a good question because, and again, we know that your immunity takes effect fully, right? A week out, it takes a week for it to really get your body up and running, and then after the second dose, I think it's the same. I mean, but so the length of that, I believe, and this is just me, until we have herd immunity. I took mine on December 28th this year, in 2020. And if we don't have herd immunity by December 2028, I'm going to get in line and get my little routine again on the 28th and on the 15th. Just so that, because it's the idea that I want as much prevention as I can.
Oh, so you saying, wait, once we do reach that number, you're not going to get the vaccine no more?
I don't know if I need to do it every year, but if it
Oh,
might,
okay,
it might, that's what I'm saying.
No, yeah.
I got you.
It's
I got
based
you.
off the.
I was going to say, I'm definitely
He said he's
I'm
Well,
not kidding.
well, Pastor,
No, I got you. I got you.
we thank you for coming on to the show. Today we got to get into our spill the beans segment. You got some beans to spill? Or
I
you
just
got...
did. I told you my conspiracy. I was trying to deflate y'all conspiracy, and I left y'all with one.
Well, we're going to get into our spill the beans subject right now. You want to go first? Me go first?
What's my beans for this week? I got some beans. Sometimes I let my son do inappropriate things just so I know
Tread lightly
that he's not into
into...
those other things.
What's those other things?
I'm gonna just say it.
No, well,
My son was playing GTA, Grand Theft Auto, which a lot of y'all don't agree with off the bat. He was playing Grand Theft Auto.
What, a child
and your
playing Grand
fiance
Theft
says she
Auto?
don't.
Yeah, Amber
you-
don't like Grand Theft Auto at
Are you
all.
saying a child playing Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, keep
or
agreeing
just-
on the
I know what the
he's
game
10.
is. No,
He's
no, I'm
playing Grand
saying,
Theft Auto,
but what's-
roaming, or whatever. Stopped upon a girl. She was a white girl wearing a bikini. And I crept in to just see what he was doing. He just gonna put the camera on, first person, and just sit there and stare at the girl. So I'm thinking, yeah, that's my boy. There you go. Look at her, you know. Look at her. Just so I know, I approve, just so I know that, you know, he on the right path. He gonna be into girls. He ain't gonna be into nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So, am I wrong for that? Or should I have been
No,
like, hey, boy, what you doing? Turn that off.
We're gonna
Look, it's 2021. You never know. I need assurance. Pastor, help
I
me.
will say this: every man that has a son if that goes through their mind at some point, I don't care how
Exactly.
I don't care how spiritual you are,
No,
none of that. And I'm not saying for you, but I'm just saying in general, every man has that thought.
Let me say this.
Clean it up, Pastor. Clean it up.
Boys, and again, we don't have to. I know what you're trying to say, but boys are attracted to girls early on.
Naturally, yeah.
So you don't have to let them, because if you expose them too much, again, if we said earlier, if I give you too much too soon,
Yeah.
you're going to expose them to something that they cannot handle. And so you have to let that naturally happen. That, my dad would ask me different questions and all that without letting me get exposed to something. Because
sure.
if you get exposed to it too soon, and this is why I would say, have that conversation instead of letting them say, hey, so you like it? I did with my son. You like it? You like it
Oh no,
for
yeah,
sure?
we do for sure.
So, and he was like, I said, hey, none of the girls.
Oh, we do. Hey, my son got a couple crushes up here at the church.
Exactly. So we can do it that way by having those conversations instead of exposing them to. And I always push for have that conversation.
Yeah.
Have it early, but have it so that as you have it, that when it gets to them being a teenager, it's not something uncomfortable. And I think what happens is people run away from it. Sexuality is in the Bible. So so it's not about biblical, it's about how do we actually mature our kids. And so I'm not saying at 3 years old, you tell them everything about birds and
No,
bees.
for sure.
You tell them that, when you see a
Ain't
girl,
birds and the bees
don't
on
go
both
push on her because
houses.
you like her, but just let her,
Exactly, yeah.
because we do
Yeah.
goofy stuff.
That's good.
No, for sure,
And
for
so
sure.
this is something natural. Oh, I don't like that. You do because you keep on elbowing her. You keep on, and they turn.
So the
Oh,
question
wow.
is asked,
No,
what would
no,
you do
no,
if you saw your son?
No.
I'm
Oh
gonna
no,
go to
actually,
my-
Pastor, since we don't
I'm-
spill the beans, I talk to Amber about this all the time. How do you say, all right, let's say my son, I don't even want to.
No, just
Put
say,
this on him.
Just say,
If let's say there's
all
a
right,
person
so-
who is that way, how do I accept them for who they are without accepting the sin? How is that possible?
have you ever seen a person who, have you ever seen a person who, you see them and they have different ways, metrosexuals. They have more stuff, but they into women, they doing this and this. So I would say that we gotta make sure we steer our boys to the right direction. And they might do like to get their nails and toes and stuff done and always be clean cut, but they still like, so you gotta walk them through that, hey, we don't dress this way, we don't talk this way, but it's okay to look nice and look good and look decent. You don't have to be a roughneck, because you got men, like you got thugs, you got prep boys, you got these things. So there's different lines of it. And I think what happens is we continue to push them the wrong way because we want them to be tough. Hey, we wear pants. We don't tie our shirt up in the back and twist through the house. That's not
Through the house.
That's not how we roll. So again, you have to walk them through that because
Yeah.
there's a conversation that says that they were born that way. No, that's not.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
That's a
conversation.
whole different
So, all right.
conversation.
So my beans to spill this week. It's actually a good thing. So I've been going through this situation with the mother of my child, to where he was kind of acting up in school, and she believes he went and got checked by a doctor, and they say he got ADHD. And I just feel like that's just him being a boy and this and that. But I prayed about it. I talked to my mom, my family about it. You prayed about it. So I have been telling her, like, we need to get him off this medicine. It was a big argument that we both were fighting back and forth with. And she wanted to finish the dosage and this and that. But I was like, no, we need to get him off this because we figured out that it was at a certain point, and it seemed that when the medicine was wearing off, that's when he would have these, like, outbursts and become angry or very agitated at whatever he was doing, and you see Jackson running around all happy and this and that. But we finally I finally got her to understand that it's really the medicine. I don't care what a doctor say, none of this. The teachers are with the kid every day, and he's finally off the medicine. He didn't have to finish it. So that's my spill the beans. I prayed about it. It was stressing me out a lot because I'm just a father that cares. But I know one thing is that he's a boy. He ain't gonna do stupid stuff, but he's not bad and gonna do all this crazy stuff. So my spill the beans is that I prayed about it and it seemed to come through, and God made a way for me. So I'm happy about that. And I talked to him today. I actually talked to the teacher. She sent the email, and we talked back and forth for a little bit, and she voiced that he's been doing extremely well. He's been learning a lot better and this and that, not having these moments. So that's my spill the beans for this week. And I just want to say I'm proud of my son, and I know he's doing what he got to do.
Congratulations, man. That's a big fight, bro.
It is a
I
fight
know
I
how
don't
it
want to
is.
fight, but I got to fight it, unfortunately. That's what happens when you have kids out of wedlock. But we're going to wrap.
Wait, what was that again? What you said?
He tried to sneak it in.
What you saying?
I said, but that's what happens sometimes when you have a child out of wedlock.
It comes with its own
It
stipulations.
comes with its own stipulation.
For sure,
I
for
agree.
sure.
I agree.
But God doesn't put more on you than you can bear.
Oh, you better be careful because Elijah might go off the road.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
But even through this, you were able to overcome.
Yeah.
You didn't think it was a struggle to do it. I'm just saying.
No, for sure,
When
for
we
sure.
walk through that, I mean, and again, we use it in all kinds of termination, but we can look at those times when, man, I'm so glad I'm so glad I was able to come out of it. I didn't think I could, but it did it. And so your praise on, I'm preaching.
No, I agree. I agree. So we're wrapping up the show, but we want to thank everyone that tuned in. We want to also thank our pastor, Alton McKinley, for coming onto the show to speak about his experience with the vaccination shot of COVID-19, how he's been feeling since it, and giving us valuable information on how he's feeling and everything with that. We thank you all for tuning in to CYA, Confessions of a Young Adult. I'm your main host again, Minister Cedric Carter that is, and our co-host,
Elijah Peterson.
we thank you all again for watching. We'll be back here again in 2 weeks with another great show. Hopefully you all were entertained with our opinions and our information. I don't want to forget, Pastor, you do the Matthew 7 and 12. Let them know what Matthew 7 and 12 is.
And if we want people to treat us a certain way, we need to treat them a certain way. And even if they don't treat us that way, we do because we love them.
No, Pastor. That's not how it go in young term. But we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah. This ain't church for real. You gotta say it verbatim. This ain't. I don't know what y'all be doing.
In young terms, it means if you want respect, you got to give respect to us. Peace
Thank you,
and love to
Pastor,
all.
for coming. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on to our show. We'll be back here soon. Thank you
Tune
all.
in 2 weeks and we'll see a pastor flying off the wall.
I pray for